Hi there, it's Sandy, your sister and your friend. Welcome to today's video. Um, I have begun to imagine a world where there actually is peace in the world, where conflict is replaced with understanding, where there's actually opportunity for everybody to enjoy prosperity. And I'm probably a latecomer to this understanding of the actual reality of peace in this world, but I believe this is a real possibility. And I don't think this is a time now for us to look for a single Messiah who has a greater level of consciousness to bring us through this doorway into this new opportunity. I think instead it's a time where our collective consciousness provides the actual doorway through which we will all walk as we realize that we are just one, that we are one collective, and that we are interconnected with each other and with our Creator. And I think that is what is going to bring us to this. We're on the precipice of that happening for us now. I was recently introduced to Dr. Joe Dispenza's book called Becoming Supernatural. And in this book, he states that we're about to experience a great evolutionary jump, a passing from survival to thriving, surviving to thriving, from one level of consciousness to another. And he states that once we transition from a state of being in survival to love and gratitude and creativity, then instead of reacting to violence and terrorism and fear and prejudice, we can come together during times of crisis. And we won't have a need anymore to blame each other or to cast prejudice or judgment on someone else or another group of people. Instead, we will come to this collective understanding. Now, we'll still have enemies to our being able to transition into this, and the enemies are the media, commercials, video games even, that tell us that and try to condition us into believing that we are separate from each other, and that we need to compete with each other in order to get what we want in this world. But Dr. Dispenza says that these old structures and paradigms are passing away, or they're collapsing even. And this is a process whereby evolution and new things will occur. So this isn't a time to waste our energy by emotionally reacting to leaders or people in power who want to keep us separated from each other. And when we give them our emotions, we're actually giving them our attention and our energy. And this is how people in power gain control over us. But instead, we must make a stand individually and collectively as a group to stand up for principles like freedom and justice and truth and equality. And when we achieve this together, that's when we find that there is power in our oneness with each other. And this is how we realize the truth that we've never been separated from each other or from our Creator. If we actually understood how interconnected we are to each other and to the unified field that we all live within, rather than feeling isolated, we would take responsibility for our thoughts and emotions, because we would realize how much they contribute to the unified field. And this is how we actually change the world, by first changing ourselves. Now, in order to change ourselves, we have to let go of our negative energy. And how do we do this? Well, we can't offer peace to the world if we don't have peace in our own hearts. I can't imagine peace, that I'm contributing to peace in the world, if I'm still warring with my neighbor or if I'm still judging my brother or sister. There's another important book by Dr. David Hawkins called Letting Go. And in this book, which he's talking about how the process of letting go of all these old emotions and old energies, he includes something he calls the map of consciousness. And in this, Dr. Hawkins, over many years, he mapped the levels of emotions on this map. And these are logarithmic energy levels that he associated with each of these common emotions. Now, the highest level, which he called pure consciousness, measures at 700 up to 1,000. And this is a level that very few humans, if any, would ever achieve, perhaps with the exception of Jesus or Buddha or Krishna. The next highest emotions on his scale are peace, love, and joy. And these positive emotions with the highest levels of logarithmic measurements are those that reflect our oneness with our Creator. Now, Dr. Hawkins also measured negative emotions, starting with the very lowest, which was shame, and then up gradually through guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, and pride. And it's critical for us to notice when we're operating at these lower emotions so that we can go through the process of letting go. Now, things can happen in our life that open the door for us to experience these lower emotions. There could be crises that we experience where the sudden death of a loved one, or a major accident that causes maybe a deformity or an injury that we have to overcome. Now, when we're going through these times of crisis, we will have thoughts running across our mind that tell us that we don't know what to do next, we're never going to get beyond this. And those thoughts really are not true. The universe always provides a pathway for us to be able to live within this new framework of the loss that has happened. But one thing that we also will feel emotions during this time, and these will probably be these lower emotions of grief and anger and hurt and fear. But what we may not notice is that there's energy behind these emotions that we're feeling. We may not recognize that. But during this catastrophic event, the door opens for us to feel the emotions that we're feeling during that time, and the energy comes up from those emotions. But what often happens is that when this floodgate opens, not only do the emotions associated with the current event come up, but all the negative emotions and negative energies that we have stored from past events that we didn't handle, these also come up. And this really gives us an opportunity. When we start thinking that way, we'll start being able to recognize that this is an opportunity that the universe is giving us, that the Spirit is actually giving us, to allow these old emotions and old energies to come up, for us to look at them. And just in the matter of looking at them, allowing them to be there, and even inviting them to be there, and loving the fact that there is this opportunity for us to have them come back up, just by looking at them. And sometimes we can name them, it's not that important, but just a matter of looking at them allows us to let go of these old energies that have been stored up, that keep wanting to drive our lives. It's these energies that really impact our life. And this letting go process can happen just in a matter of a few seconds or just a few minutes. This is not a long process. But this is the only way that we can clear out these old things so that we can make space for the new elevated emotions of love, joy, and peace to come up and stay in our lives. And these elevated emotions actually represent the reality of who we truly are. And as we move into our true identity, we actually unite behind the energy of oneness rather than being controlled by the idea of separation. We're actually hardwired biologically so that we mimic each other's behavior. So as one of us models peace and love and kindness, it allows those around us to open up their hearts and move from survival to this united feeling of being united and collected, this collective energy field that we're all a part of. We only need to remember that each of us is a contributor to the Earth's unified energy field. And as we practice experiencing these higher elevated energies, we form a habit of raising our energy and tuning into the frequency of love. Now, each time we set the positive intention of peace as a global community, we send a stronger wave of love and altruism throughout the whole earth. And if we do this enough, we can only imagine the type of positive change that we can create on the earth. As a matter of fact, Dr. Dispenza writes about these global experiments that have already happened in his book. This is a paragraph I took from his book. It says this: to date, the power of temporary peace-gathering projects has been exhibited and thoroughly field-tested in more than 50 demonstration projects and 23 peer-reviewed scientific studies scrutinized by independent scholars around the world. The results have consistently demonstrated a positive effect in the immediate reduction of crime, warfare, and terrorism by an average of greater than 70%. Yes, 70%. When a group of people come together with a specific intention of collective consciousness to change some, quote, thing or to produce an outcome, if they create it with the energy and emotions of peace, unity, or oneness, without physically doing anything, that unified community can produce changes 70% of the time. Isn't that mind-blowing? So the bottom line is that we don't need to engage in peace talks with world leaders in order to reduce war and violence. We can do it by picturing peace in our minds across the earth and feel the peace in our hearts. We can also find groups of people locally or across the world using the internet with whom we share the goal of bringing peace to the entire globe or to a specific part of the world where there's currently strife going on. So join me today in finding ways that resonate with you and be the peace that you want to see happen in the world. God bless you. I love you so much. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Hit the like button. Tell me what things resonate with you. How do you go about knowing that you are the agent of peace in this world? I love you so much. Go and be blessed today. Bye-bye.